there is something that people don't often talk about, on this YouTube street, especially as regards to, flipping electronics for profit. And I woke up this morning and I felt like this is something I can actually make a video about. Of course, when I get to the warehouse, I'm still going to be talking more in depth, about this. And this is something that one cannot just wish away. I sell on ebay.de, and the moment you start flipping, computers or other electronics, you're going to be making, money, profit. At some point, you can no longer be operating as a private seller. All right. And sooner or later, you're going to be getting a business registered. And as soon as you do that, that's going to change, or it's going to put a lot of demand on you. And one demand, which is something I want to talk about today, is that at some point, you have to be selling these electronics if you sell laptops or computers with guarantee, because this is, I want to believe that in most countries, this rule applies, which is if you are a business seller and you are selling used item, you have to be able to, guarantee those items will be functional for the next 1 year at the minimum. All right. This is particularly true if you sell on ebay.de, because I sell in Germany, like I said. As a business seller, when you say used item, doesn't necessarily have to be new. New item also have their own requirements. But if you say used items, there is a demand on you to actually give your sellers a 1 year guarantee, not just the return policy. That's a different thing. And this is kind of a great area people don't talk about. And for a lot of people out there, you might have this, this willingness or this needs to want to, sell electronics and stuff like that. This is something that you have to put in perspective, because not everybody might want to deal with this kind of headache. This morning, I woke up and I saw an email, PC that was sold like 11 months ago. The buyer now is saying that for one reason or the other, the PC is kind of defective, and he's making recourse to the, my guarantee policy on eBay. And now I have to take back that PC and take a look at it, even though the buyer had used it already for like a year, even longer. Now I have to take that PC back and try to fix it. But the beautiful thing is I do not have to return money at this point. The only thing I have to do is to make sure that the PC becomes functional again. All right. See, if you don't have, the patience to deal with stuff like this may want to make you consider, selling electronics or selling in the electronics category as the kind of business you want to do. If you sell clothing, if you sell used books, I don't think that you may have to deal with this kind of hurdle. But if you sell electronics, laptops, desktop PCs, tablets, watches, and stuff like that, sometimes I'm not so sure what happens elsewhere in the UK, in America. I don't know what happens there, but if you do know, please go to the comment section, let me know about it. But here in Germany, if you are a registered business seller, you have to give guarantees in addition to the return, the 30 days or 15 days or 14 days return policy that you have in place. You also have to, guarantee the item that you are selling. And that changes a lot, because first of all, that changes the way you source for inventories. Because if you want to keep buying inventories for irresponsible sources that you cannot really, guarantee that the items are in very good conditions, those items are going to be broken after about 4 or 5 months. And you're going to be bombarded with an unlimited request from buyers that, look, the items they bought 5 or 6 months ago is defective, and you have to, deal with it. You have to either take the item back, try to fix it. And sometimes it will be a little pain, because you might not have the time, you might not have the patience, you might not even have, these items to replace for the people that bought it. For me, because these items are desktop PCs, they are very, very easy to, to bring back, get another desktop PC online and just change the mainboard. If the mainboard is defective or the power supply is defective, these parts are easy to change. But then it's not like something that one would, be happy to deal with every now and again. And if you do not have that kind of mental bandwidth, or you do not have that kind of patience, consider this before deciding to, flipping electronics and stuff like that. Another thing that you may want to do is just to make sure that you're actually buying these items from very, very good sources. In the beginning, when I started, I was buying all manner of stuff, stuff that could not be tested, going to the flea market, buying stuff that I really didn't know in what conditions they were. And believe me, I had this problem a lot. People writing me after 5 months, after 6 months that the power button is defective, something is wrong somewhere, PC is refusing to start, and all manner of craziness, But then later on, many years down the line, I felt like it just makes a lot of sense to buy from, very responsible sources, PCs coming from organizations where you can pretty much tell that they have not been used to death, and when you get stuff like that, you can be sure that whoever is going to take it from you, like buy it from you off of eBay, would have a very, very beautiful experience. The items will be able to last much longer, and you will be able to also enjoy this peace and freedom that's just going to come from you selling items in very, good condition. Like I said, people don't really talk about these things because most of the people that flip PCs, I don't know, they just flip, maybe buy gaming PC here and there, 1 or 2 or 3, and then they call it a day. But if you want to go the route of really flipping electronics, which is desktop PCs, laptops on a daily basis, I mean, when you have to, build PCs according to customer requests, definitely the orders that you're going to be receiving is going to be very, very few. So you might not have this data to see this problem. But if you want to be flipping PCs in the traditional meaning of the word flipping PCs or electronics, which would presuppose that you are buying electronics in bulk, and then you are constantly selling them, generating a lot of money and going back to buy new inventories, you are going to be running into this problem. So this video is just to tell you, consider these things. If you have not gone into this category, consider if you have the systems in place to actually take back, just pretty much like recalling the items that you have already sent back. Consider if you have, the patience to deal with something like that. And also the buyer return rate on electronics items are very, very high because a lot of people want to spend money on electronics that are very functional, except from the get-go, they are buying a defective item. Sometimes people even buy defective items without reading the full description, hoping that it's an item that is functional. And because of that, keep returning items. These are a few things that people don't talk about. And I felt like this morning, before I begin to go into my computer and see what's going on and even reply to this email, I just want to draw your attention to it. And if this video has helped you in one way or the other, please go ahead and hit the like button. Consider subscribing to my channel. Until I see you again in the next one. Peace out.